Price comparison of Johannesburg, South Africa to Lusaka, Zambia, in case you're deciding to relocate to Africa. Hope that was water. Hey, Jason here. If you've been watching the channel, you've been seeing me for the last 5 years, but I've been 9 years in this journey of being a nomad. When I sold everything and left the United States, I am now on my third continent, and today I'm coming to you actually from Johannesburg, South Africa. Here on vacation. My mom came to visit, so I met her out here and been out here for almost a week now, actually. And time goes fast, man. And so what I'm gonna do in this video, cause I know a couple people's asking me what is the difference between the prices for cost of living in Johannesburg compared to Lusaka. So I'm gonna explain and break those down to you, and I'm gonna break them into little categories. But also on top of that, I'm gonna even go down a little further. Don't just take the breakdowns and be like, oh, this is where I want to go. I'm going to break it down a little bit further. Which country would be better for which type of person you may be, because each country is not suitable for different types of people. I'm just be honest with you. And so let's go ahead and get into today's video. So the first thing about price comparison that we want to do about Johannesburg and Lusaka, so this is comparing South Africa to Zambia, is food costs. Now, if you're watching from the United States or you're watching from the UK, I'm basing it off of your typical lifestyle, which is you may eat out 2 to 3 times a day, if not more, for majority of your time. You do not actually have the time to cook a lot of meals, or just that family structure is not there like in some other countries. And so, based off of that, this is what I'm telling you. Johannesburg is almost 2 times cheaper than Lusaka, Zambia, if you have a special dietary eating habit. Now, if you're eating just regular, normal, it's going to come about right there. I think because Johannesburg have much more stores, which is a little bit more competitive, they still come in a little bit under Lusaka, Zambia. Now, this is usually utilizing grocery stores. Now, I will say this, in Zambia, there is a way to get your food costs very low, very much lower than Johannesburg, South Africa. However, if you're coming from the Western matrix, it's going to be a lot harder for you to be able to purchase in those areas, or to feel comfortable eating the animals that's coming from that area, because you're seeing everything naturally done. Like, it's the real process of how it is to, farm the table. And so some people cannot handle that, especially beside the episode of 90 Day Fiance, before the 90 days or something, where the chickens in Nigeria, she loves chickens, but she eat chicken, and got mad at them when they went to go to the market to buy chicken to butcher and eat. Nonsense. But hey, it's that Western matrix. I'm not here to argue with it. So just be mindful of that. So I know, like, a lot of Zambian brothers and sisters, they're gonna be like, oh, well, this is cheaper. You have to understand, someone coming from a Western matrix, just because they're not used to seeing food in its natural raw form, they will have a hard time being able to purchase from those places, or to be able to eat the food there, because they're going to be thinking all of this craziness that the Western media tells you around food. Because you got to remember, their food is more of a chemical compound. It's not about something that's spiritual and is nourishing your body. So before I go too deep on that, I'm going to give the win to actual South Africa on that one. It is really good price. I mean, I've been tearing up a bunch of the tofu products, the vegan specialty products at Woolworths, and I'm spending a lot less than what I would in Zambia, for instance. Here I spent the equivalent of maybe 75 kwacha, or about $3 somewhere like that. And for the same product in Zambia, I would have been paying 116 to maybe 120, 30 kwacha. So, you're looking at almost close double the prices on some of these special items for them to get shipped there. So they start getting expensive, man. And especially if you eat out plenty of times a day, like, that's going to add up for you. And so that's why I give that win to Johannesburg. Next, let's go into accommodations. Now, this is very important, because, like, please hear me on this. You're not going to you're not going to find a great deal on accommodations online. Everything is targeting either the euro, the pound, or the dollar. So because they know that's who they're targeting, they're overpricing the real estate. However, here in South Africa, long-term accommodations are a lot more affordable than, let's say, Zambia, and you're getting way more for your money here in South Africa than you are in Lusaka. I've stayed in a nice place, two nice places in Lusaka actually, but when you start seeing just some of the prices on some of those places, it's not reasonable. Like it's not reasonable at all. Um, Sometimes people think just because some people can demand so much money that just any space or property can do that, and that's not how business work. And so I really don't like this area. But you can see the Airbnb I'm at. It's a real nice area in Randburg. And so Lusaka is overpriced when it comes to Airbnb, and I say they're overpriced when it comes to their hotels. Like I stayed in one of the big hotels for a night. Yes, I had aircon, but I didn't have hot water, and also there wasn't even DSTV or internet that came with it. And I spent almost $100 for one night, and I just wanted to check it out. So I feel like unless you're going to a place like Cargo 88, which is maybe 100 plus a night, also, you're not getting that good hotel experience. So like I don't see a point of it even doing it in Zambia. You might as well just get an Airbnb and just make sure everything's comfortable for you that way. But here in Johannesburg, you can do Airbnb. You can do hotels. Like they have every single thing that you want to do. You can live in just normal residential neighborhoods. You can live in CBD like I used to. And then on top of that, the other big part when it comes to accommodations. Now, let's say for the long-term person, the person's going to be staying for a few months, it is easier to get into an apartment or a house for rent, for a short-term rental, well, long-term rental, I'm sorry, like a year longer contract in Johannesburg than it is Zambia. I'm just being honest with you. It's not showing favoritism, but that is one of the big areas Lusaka really needs to clean up on. It's too many scammers, too much nonsense. It's just not good at all. And the few people, like I say, if you find them online, they're overinflating the prices so much to where you're not getting your bang for your buck. Now, as far as movability, which one is better? This one's going to be dependent on various factors. Uber or Yango, which is Yango is the Russian version of Uber in Zambia. So I'm gonna just use Uber. So Uber in Zambia, if you're around town, around closer to town, meaning like North Mead, Olympia, Rose Park, those areas, is very affordable for you. Once you go outside of that area, it gets expensive. However, here in Johannesburg, Uber's expensive out here, guys. I'm gonna be honest with you. You actually do better if once you meet a driver that you know, to actually just get his number and just use him personally. That's one of the things that I do here. I always get different guys' numbers if I like the way they're driving, if they're, everything's just good. And then I use them personally. That way I can just text them or hit them up a day before, give them my itinerary, and it saves me a lot more money than Uber and back and forth. Now they do have Bolt here. I've tested it out a few times since I've been here, and I'm gonna be honest, like for short distances, like if you know you're gonna be staying somewhere and there's a mall less than 5 minute drive, Bolt is really affordable. Like I've been paying less than $2.50 a ride, and I had to go back and forth to the little mall area up here like 3 times. So like that was really good instead of paying $8, $9, or $10 each trip. So it is getting a little bit more affordable. However, I still give that one to Lusaka, Zambia. And then, let me think, I want to make sure I don't miss anything with as far as accommodations and movability, I'm sorry. Oh, walkability of the cities. Depending on where you are in Johannesburg, it's going to depend on how walkable it is. If you're someone young, you may be military experience, you know how to walk with your head on a swivel to look out for nonsense. Even the CBD area is a very walkable area. I give it a walk score of about a 75, and that's real good actually. And so if you're not familiar with walk score, look into Grant Cardone, he explains it. Some of the properties that I've have very small share investments in with him, his company, Cardone Capital, The big thing that got me to it was the walkable score of 95, which is really great. And that's I think it's in the Miami area. But you don't get much of a real walkable here in the southern region so far. It's like the southern United States, like it's more car focused. They are car focused people, and so that's the reason why. But certain areas of Johannesburg are very walkable. Greenside, I love Greenside. CBD, I used to love walking around CBD, especially on a Sunday morning. Hardly anybody going to work, and it's just peaceful, man. I used to love walking down the Gundy Square and coming back home. um, However, in Lusaka, it is a walkable score of maybe 10. And honestly, if you're coming, this your first time ever going out of the country, out of the United States or the UK, I will give it a walkable score of 0 because it's a lot of chaos. It's not as bad as Dar es Salaam, but like going to town is rough. Like if you're not used to that environment, going to town is going to be rough for you. You have to remember, I'm coming from Colombia, Panama, where I used to go through marketplaces, go to different little country towns. Um, so like I've gotten kind of adjusted to some of that type of thing to be able to move around and do it. But if you're not used to that lifestyle, you're not going to do it. That's why I keep telling most people just get an assistant. Um, Also, with movability, as far as ramps, stairs, accessibility for things, I rate both cities, Johannesburg and Lusaka, low on the accessibility for someone with disabilities. If you and have a mobility injury or in a wheelchair, both are pretty low. I'm gonna be honest with you. However, Zambia is more of a considered. You would look at it as more of a rural part of the United States outside of a big city, so everything's flat. So you don't have much going up and down. What I've learned this go around, it really opened my eyes with Johannesburg. It's a built-up city, so like having mobility issues, joint pain, things like that, it comes into a factor sooner than later. Because when my mom visiting, she has a bad back from a surgery, things like that, and I didn't realize the place was 2 stories, so it have stairs, and so it's like it was just something I wasn't mindful of because I wasn't suffering from that. Even though I have a spinal surgery also, because I do things in my normal routine to alleviate most of that pain. Like seeing it first, and I was like, oh, okay, so like I don't recommend Johannesburg for people with severe mobility issues. So if you don't want to overexert yourself. So just be mindful of that. Now, let's just start wrapping up because I'm getting at almost 20 minutes. So as you see from most of these two things, is Johannesburg winning majority of it. However, Johannesburg is a completely different city for a completely different person than the person who will be doing well in Lusaka. So I wanted to just break that down last. Like, what type of person would I recommend coming to Johannesburg? Any digital nomad. If you're a digital nomad, the internet out here is excellent. Even if you're a vlogger, vlogging out here is a bunch of beautiful places, beautiful trails, all those type of things. If you're into that metropolitan type, like that Seattle, Washington type vibe or Portland, Oregon vibe, you can get all of that here in Johannesburg. Um, and so, like for me, I recommend someone. I think you need to be mature coming here also. Like this is a place where you need to be here as a mature person. So I would recommend someone about 32 to maybe 55. I think that's a really good age range, especially if you're still a little active, you up on the trends, things like that. But if you're someone who's looking more retire, settle down, don't do Johannesburg. It's a big, big city. It's a fast-paced city. I just don't think. I don't really. Every time I see a lot of elderly people here, it look like it's just hard for them to get around here. Like it's a lot of struggle, and I don't mean it in a bad way. It's a fast-paced city. This is a young man's game here in Joburg. Now, if you're thinking of who would be the type of person to go to Lusaka, it's someone who, if you're wanting to do big business ventures, believe it or not, there's a lot of money to be made here in Joburg. there's just as much money that can be made in Lusaka long term also. So if you're looking to do really big business, I'm talking about big dreams, things you couldn't even think of dreaming about in your home country because it was so out of price. So like if you have those big dreams, look into Lusaka. If you're someone who want to do farming, landing, have land developments, things like that, Lusaka is a great place to be. So please don't think you got to be in just a big city, Joburg, to get those things because you don't. Uh, Also, the person that I recommend if someone's ready to retire, if you know you just want to retire, have your nice home, even if you want to build your own dream home on your land, even though I don't recommend it, but if you even want to build your dream home, like the land costs are still affordable there, and the building costs are affordable also, so that's really good for you. And you can make a community there. Like there's groups of Americans there and people from the UK, and they have weekly, sometimes monthly meetings where they just go out to eat, have barbecues, all of that. So like you can build a family and a network there with like-minded people, which is really great. And that's for that retirement vibe. Like it gives you like that retiring in Panama, but like just in a landlocked country. So like it's the same type of vibes, the movement. You'll probably have someone that's doing most of your cleaning around your house. You'll have that person maybe doing your private cooking. Like you'll be giving yourself that opulent lifestyle there because it's at such an affordable range. So like if you're gonna retire there. Like that's one of the things that I wish that the electricity was stable this time around because I would have wanted to take my mom there so she could see. Look, if you want to ready to retire, just come here. We'll figure it out how to get you here full time. But retire, like have someone that's gonna be your assistant and go get the things you need. Have someone that's gonna cook for you your meals all day. Have someone that's gonna do all your cleaning and laundry for your house. Like have those things. Have a private driver when you need to go somewhere specific on those few days you want to get out. Like that's what I mean by that, and still being able to save money if you want to do other things. So the Zambia is the place for retirement, but also big dreams. Like you can have them both there, and that's the beautiful thing about it because it's such a safe place. And so if you have any other questions between Johannesburg and Lusaka, Zambia, make sure you ask them down below. I'll be getting back to them either personally through the chat or do it through a video. Also, as I'm still here, I'm here till November 2nd-ish. I'm going to leave somewhere around that time and fly back. I'm going to be dropping different videos of just the different things that I'm seeing. Just to give you more of a heads up on Joburg. Like now I'm not here as the person that was living here. I'm here as a tourist, really. And so I'm seeing things a lot different, do a different perspective, especially now that I have my mom here with me. And so I'll be sharing more of that information with you also. And just remember, if you have also any other questions or comments, just hit me down at my email address. It's not going to be on this video because I'm uploading from my phone. I'm not using my computer while I'm here because I left it back. So just look through some of the previous videos in the description, and the email address will be down there. And just remember too, guys, I'm on vacation now, spending time with my mom. Haven't seen her in over 2 years, so I will get back with you when I get back with you. I'm not just spending all day answering emails. It's about family time and bonding. So just remember this: I'm Jason, and success is simple once you know how.